In this video, we're going to find the whole given a percent and an amount. So let's look at our first example. So we're going to find the wholes, we're going to round, we can use a calculator, but we need to write down what we put in the calculator. So what are we given? So we're told that we're given a percent and an amount, so the directions actually tell us that, but we need to know how to determine that when we're not given that information. So we're given 45 and 35%. So the percent is always what I find first because it's easiest, because it says percent. And since it's a number, we're not looking for the percent, we're given the percent. Okay, and now let me just highlight of what number in green. The next thing I usually look for is the whole, because the whole is followed by the of. So this is the whole, and notice since it says of what number, we don't know the whole, we're looking for the whole. That means this value is our amount. Okay. So we're going to use the same general strategy we used before. We take our amount and we're going to multiply by a fraction. Now what we want to do, since this is 35%, we divide by 35. So the 35 goes in the denominator, and we could think of dividing 45 by 35 gives us 1%, and then we take 100 copies, so we put 100 in the numerator. So now we're going to multiply 45 times 100 divided by 35, and this gives us 128.57. 128.57. And I'm going to change this to approximately equal to because we rounded. Okay, let's look at the next one. 4.32%, so we're given the percent, and it says of what number, so that means we are trying to find the whole, and then is 7.5, this is going to be our amount. So we take our amount, we're going to multiply by a fraction. Now we're going to have a decimal in our fraction. That's okay because we're going to put it in the calculator. We're going to divide 7.5 by 4.32. That will give us 1%. Then multiply by 100 to get 100%. So 7.5 times 100 divided by 4.32 gives us 173.61. So it's approximately 173.61 rounded to 2 decimal places. Let's look at the next one. 11/7 is 22% of what number? So we're missing the whole. Of what number? This is our percent. This must be our amount. So let's take our amount, 11/7, and now we multiply by, we divide by 22 to get 1% and multiply by 100 to get 100%. Okay, so again, in every case, notice we have 100 in the numerator and we divide by the percent we're given. Now you'll want to be a little bit careful when you put this in your calculator. Okay. Let's just multiply across real quick and write this as one fraction. Okay, and we could simplify here, but we're going to put it in the calculator and get a decimal anyway. So the only thing you need to be aware of, if you use the fraction function on your calculator, you don't have to worry about this. But I'm going to put the numerator in parentheses, which actually isn't necessary, but it's good to be consistent, and divide by the product of the denominators in parentheses. This is absolutely necessary. So looking at this expression, remember if I didn't put this 7 times 22 in parentheses, it would divide by 7, but then it would multiply that result by 22. So that's why you need the entire product of the denominator in parentheses. You don't want to multiply too much and never round in the middle of the problem, because that will give you round off error. Okay, so now we have these in parentheses. Our result is, to 2 decimal places, 7.14. Let's look at the last one. 134.7% of what number is 2300? Okay. So our amount, we're looking for the whole because it says of what number. Our amount is 2300. Okay, we want to find 100%, so we're going to multiply by 100 and divide this into bits of size 1% by dividing by 134.7. So we'll put this in the calculator. 2300 times 100 divided by 134.7, and we get 1707.50. So I'm going to round up. So this is an 8, so I add 1 to the 9, which gives us 0.5. So 1707.5. And I'll put 0.50 just so I know I rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay. Again, notice this is less than 2300, and that makes sense because 2300 was 134.7%. It was more than 100% than the number we were looking for. So the number we were looking for, 1707, should be less than 2300.